好，同志们，我们都在轰轰烈烈的站起来，站起来。Welcome to the 271st edition of China Now with your gang of two, Nan Su, who is the senior investigative reporter for Epoch Times, and yours truly, Michael Olson, who long ago was dissuaded from being a China hand by the great helmsman himself, Mao Zedong. Each week, Nansu and I look out across the broad expanse of the Pacific Ocean from our home port at santacruzvoice.com and ask, China now, friend or foe, war or peace? Ni hao, Nansu.
Pretty good. Good afternoon, Michael.
Well, good, Nansu. 1 year ago, President Trump took the helm of the USS United States and ordered up full speed ahead. It has been a full speed year for the past year, that's for sure. So the question is, has Trump's year of full speed ahead managed to affect the change he promised? Well, during his televised press conference, he held up a big fat book that contained all the changes he claims to have made during the year. Then, as if to give the assembled press a big FU, he dropped the book at their feet where it landed with a big thump. Whether one is for or against President Trump, we all have to admit that the USS United States is on the move. And that takes us to our China Now question of the day. Has Trump's year in office made the U.S. more or less competitive in its existential competition with the People's Republic of China? Nansu, what do you think? More competitive or less?
Yeah, it's a lot more competitive. Now keep in mind, China, it's not our competitor, it's our number one enemy. So from that standpoint, I would say, in the first year handling, how he dealt with our adversary. You can say adversary, okay, I prefer to say our enemy. Um that he's done an excellent job, if you're counting on the Greenland deal he just signed, it's a Trump what was a negotiation of art of a deal.
Art of the
Yeah,
deal.
you see the whole thing play out in the last just a few days, and so I think it was perfect. And then I think it's getting there. We have a Greenland to. I don't think we're gonna Trump is going to buy Greenland. Um, but I think Trump is going to have a full. Trump has got the full access right from U.S. military
Yeah.
and for the economic resource of Greenland. I think that too he got it, but I don't think he's going to actually. Well, that's enough basically.
Yeah. So
We
we'll
don't
pick
have
up.
to have Greenland as a sovereignty unless the people living in Greenland, if that's what they truly want, right? So
Yeah.
that will be their decision, not
Well,
our decision.
that was going to be our second hour conversation. So Greenland is a very, very big deal, and it'll be interesting to see how Xi Jinping reacts to that deal,
And
because
also, right, and also he got a 5% from the NATO country,
from the NATO
except the
country.
Spain, okay,
Okay.
and and um and he got the rare earth, which extended by Xi Jinping to the probably November of this year. I think that will be enough for the U.S. Corporations to, they already identify enough resources of rare earths in Alaska,
Yeah.
and now we're getting into the Greenland, so that's a lot. And also, you look at Japan. Japan, it's a step forward, very strong to defend itself. They are increasing their Japan is increasing their defense budget and quickly. and they used to have a peace constitution by the end of 2022, so they can their defense budget can only be limited to 1%, but then in December of 2022 they increased to 2%, uh, like five step. Supposedly by 2027 they're going to have 2%, but now they say they're going to increase even more, and also they're pushing for the change to change the Japanese constitution to make
to
a
be able to
constitution
fight.
amendment to allow U.S. nuke to be placed in Japan
Uh-huh.
and Taiwan. You look at Taiwan. They say by the 2030 they're going to have 5% defense budget. I think they're going to probably do a lot more. And then also plus the recent in December, Trump basically said that he's going to increase the defense budget another half a trillion, like half. That's like 500 billion. So that's tremendous amount of increase. That's like a 50% increase. Um, and now he made a presidential order, executive order, and then restrict all the defense companies to buy back their stock to make profit sharing. They have to, all the money they make, they have to reinvest it into the manufacture of weaponaries. So that push there, because they're behind. They're like 3 to 5 years behind of their orders. So they have to do that. So I think overall, from the defense front, and plus, things happening in the American continent, in Venezuela, and also in the
Iran.
Middle East, Iran, so that's coming, that's forthcoming. So all these things together, I think we are in a lot better shape than before he went into White House.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you. Absolutely has been a year of full steam ahead for the USS United States with Captain Donald Trump at the helm. He has weakened. Also, what you didn't bring up, I don't think, is that he's done a lot to weaken China's economy, which has been a very big deal. With his tariffs and trade policies, he's pulled the rug out from China's biggest customer, which was the United States. Also, Trump has humiliated, as you mentioned, China's allies, with especially Venezuela, which is totally out of the realm of being an ally of China now at this point. And also, he has humiliated Iran, both by chasing Iran's proxies out of Syria and uh, and helping to end the threat of Iran's nuclear bombs by dropping the bomb down the air shaft of their secret cave and whatnot. And above all, Trump's military action has demonstrated the impotence of China's military hardware. Nowhere has China's military hardware been able to stop U.S. military hardware. So, a great example of that, of course, was in Venezuela, but also in Iran. So, wherever it's been tested, it's been proven to be impotent to stop uh, Western technology. So, in all those respects, Trump, I think, has made the United States much stronger in its competition or its war with China, the People's Republic of China. However, what he has failed to do, and I think it was at the top of his list of things to do, was to talk Putin away from China.
I
I,
don't think that's ever going to happen. No. That was not on my expectation list. That I have
it,
never put on that on. They have a lot of people talking about that, saying, we offer U.S. market, U.S. technology, a bunch of U.S. investments, so on and so forth. They're just, you don't look ever, never, I mean, never ever look down your enemy, So that's why I'm saying, and Putin is not that stupid. Xi Jinping is not stupid, and then Xi Jinping is super. I never, I laugh at those people who say Xi Jinping is stupid.
well,
No,
I'm
you
not
go,
one of them.
no, he's not stupid, but he is evil. That's it. You if you have a evil people who is very smart, that make you a true enemy. If he's a stupid, I don't care how evil he is, he's not a threat. Okay,
Yes.
so
Well, I think Trump's inability to talk Putin away from China is going to be to the great detriment of Russia, because I think Putin is being set up for the big fall by Xi Jinping. And that
they
is what,
all they I think both of them are going to fall. That's what it is.
okay.
So that kiss it just we know that it's just the timing. It's going to fall. In the next 3 years, or it's going to, or maybe 5 years, or more important to us, to Americans, is if Xi Jinping is going to fall before a war that breaks out in the Western Pacific or after. So
Mhm.
that's a more important to us.
Okay. Well, I'm going to challenge you, Nan Su, in our second hour, because I think Xi Jinping is setting up Putin for the big fall. And so that's going to be our second hour question of the day. I'll pose it like this. Which is most likely to happen? Trump invades Greenland, which in a sense he already did, or Xi invades Siberia. Would Xi Jinping invade Siberia? What is that all about? So that's a discussion for the second hour today. But right now we'll head off and get to work talking about our questions, our news of the week. And the first news item I'd like to pick up was out of the Wall Street Journal, no less. And it talks about how Xi Jinping this past year has punished 1 million people in China for not being loyal enough to the Xi Jinping. And actually, it wasn't a million, it was only 983,000 people were disciplined with measures that include reprimands, suspension, demotion, and expulsion. That was according to data published by China. This represents a 10.6% increase from what was already a record year in 2024. Punishing people for what? For not being loyal enough.
Well, I think that's a misjudgment. That's how it comes to the difference between a people, a writer, from the Western country, look at China, and how myself, as someone who left the communist China, we look at it in a totally different way.
Oh, good.
I,
What way
I
do
don't
you
think
see?
that judgment is true. That judgment it's a total misjudgment. It's the continuation of past 25 years of a kind of a mentality, looking at China. They're still making the same mistake. That's what it is.
And the mistake is what?
The mistake, they don't understand the evil nature of a communist party. Communist Party. They are thinking that Xi Jinping's fighting for his personal control and the personal power, and then but it totally ignored the evil nature of entire communist regime, and they're still thinking, in the way, oh yeah, change Xi Jinping will change everything. What I'm thinking is, if even they change Xi Jinping, it's only going to become worse. So
So what you're saying is that the Western writers like that, just read from the Wall Street Journal, are still imbued with a panda love and unable to see what the real Chinese Communist Party is all about.
that's correct. That's correct. We can talk about that. Yeah, I don't, I totally disagree. Now, Xi Jinping, after he got into the power in 2012, so far he has punished 7.2 million Communist Party officials. All, you include all some of the officials in the village level, district level, street block level, from bottom to top, 7.2 million. That's tremendous. Now, what I'm giving you, it's kind of the only comparison I can make is like in the mid 1930s, Stalin, Joseph Stalin, he killed about 700,000 people. Most of them are the Communist Party members of Soviet Union, and
So this is
so.
de rigueur for communism, right?
Yeah,
This is what commies do. They
yeah,
kill
that's
they
what they
kill their
do
own.
now. But Xi Jinping doesn't have to do that. Now, first of all, let's make a comparison of what the problems facing both of them. There are those tremendous similarities between the two. Number one, when Stalin, got into the power, he's facing is in the mid, think about this, the October Revolution of Russia, that was like in 1917. From 1917 to the mid of 1930s, that's less than 20 years. Okay, so what Joseph Stalin facing was a lot of people. They still, they came out from the old system, right? They have a lot of thoughts, ideologically or personal interest level, as well as how they look at the future. All these things together. That's the challenge facing Stalin.
And so what you're suggesting is to kill the different thought, you have to kill the different thinkers.
That's right. That's what he did. That's what
That's
he
what he did.
Stalin did.
Yeah.
Now Xi Jinping facing the pretty much similar issues. Why? Because when Xi Jinping inherited the power in 2012, he facing all different levels of Communist Party officials. They all of them who climb up of their power ladder through this period of time that China is totally open. Tremendous amount of capitalist investment coming from the West. So everybody have been seeing the economic booming in China through capitalism.
It was the glasnost. Is there a Chinese expression for glasnost? Which is what they called Russia or the Soviet Union when they opened it up and allowed for free expression. They called it glasnost. But I don't
Yeah,
I don't
the
recall any
well,
Chinese word for that.
it's
For
like
that.
remember, well, you have the 100 flowers,
Yeah, yeah.
something like that, right? So, now it, well,
Well,
basically that they're coming. Well, they want the money from the West. That's what Deng Xiaoping want, right? They want the money from the West so that they can save their own economic system. Now, the problem is Xi Jinping. He's very smart. Again, I'm saying I'm trying to emphasize he's not stupid. He's very smart, but he's evil. Okay, evil and smart, that make the challenge. Evil and smart together, right? So now he sees things through. He believe if China continuously on its path, towards the capitalist market, capitalist economy, eventually the Communist Party's ruling power is going to collapse, no doubt about it. So, so but his problem is he's facing the challenge of all these different level of officials. They like two things. Number one, they want to see the economic growth, and also they want to see, more and more money in their own pocket, right? So, so there are two things that really driving the Communist Party in the direction towards to the market economy. So he's kind of facing similar challenge with Stalin in the 1930s.
Right.
Right. So his way, what he did has done is he basically demoted or punished 7.2 million most Communist Party officials.
Including a lot of his own
7.2.
top generals.
Yeah, yes. Well,
So,
we'll talk about the military a little later. Yeah, that
okay.
military is a little different.
Okay.
So now that 7.2 million, think about it. He doesn't have to kill them. And he executed some of them. Most of them just demoted or just fired. Why he doesn't have to do that? Because he doesn't have to face this as a severe challenge as Joseph Stalin facing. What Stalin facing, because what Stalin facing is the former Soviet Union regime, in the mid 1930s. It's only established like about close to 20 years, while the Communist Party in China already established more than they already took over China,
Yeah.
the whole country, more than 70 years. So there's regarding this from the aspect of a ruling power, they are a lot stronger than Stalin. So he doesn't necessarily have to kill those people because they already kill many of them in the history of the last 70 years, right? So that's why you don't see as much of execution as in what happened in 1930s by Stalin. But however, Xi Jinping did demoted 7.2 million Communist Party officials.
Uh,
And now military. Now you're talking about military.
well,
Military,
before we go to the military, let me take you back to 1957 and the anti-rightist campaign
yes.
that was put up by Chairman Mao with the help of Deng Xiaoping. Now, who was the rightist? Essentially, it was anybody who threatened the thought or the thinking of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah,
So,
who won the true democracy, basically. They
yes,
because
there was
yeah,
still
Chairman
a
Mao promised, Chairman Mao, before they take Chinese Communist Party took over control of China, they promised Chinese people democracy, right?
right.
Yeah, they did. And there was a bunch of people, like intelligent people, educated people, of officials, or people with technical
Who
expertise.
had bought into the promise.
That's right. They want the Communist Party to keep their promise, basically.
Yes.
So that's what end up then. See that 1958 to 1961. That they feel in the no. I think it's a little earlier. Um,
The
uh,
anti-rightist campaign was 57.
anti-rightist movement. Yeah,
Yeah.
anti-rightist around that time. Basically, the anti-rightist movement is more or less similar to what Stalin did in 1930s, to get rid of the people who had still have some thinking from the old system, right?
Right, right. And the
Um,
interesting thing about that, Nan Su, was that it was used to just get rid of whoever you wanted. You didn't even have to be a rightist or a capitalist roader. You didn't have to be one. You could just be an enemy of somebody who was deciding who to get rid of. So one of the things I remember so distinctly about the Great Cultural Revolution is that the Red Guards, you could be the leader of the Red Guards one day, and you could be kicked out and executed or sent to the countryside the next day. So there was no consistent uh, thing about what a rightist was during the anti-rightist campaign. It got so out of hand that it could get rid of anybody. There was no law per se, no judicial system per se. It was just if we thought you were bad, and that's that. Now, is that similar to what Xi Jinping is doing now?
Well, it is, but except that they're facing different things, right? In the late 50s, what Chairman Mao was facing a bunch of people, they came out from the old system before the Chinese Communist Party took over control of China. But still they are not in line with the Communist Party, while Xi Jinping is facing from the Communist Party officials who climb up the power ladder in the last 30, 40 years, after China opened its market to the capitalism.
All right. Okay.
So, they are facing different kind of a challenge, but they are doing the same thing. They basically, say you have to in line with the ultimate interest of the CCP, which is to continue the CCP's ruling power. So, but now what the Communist Party facing the challenge facing the Communist Party, it's the market economy. So
Okay.
basically, so
So it
therefore,
is the rightist, the capitalist rotors,
well,
the
that's the
market
that well,
economy.
there are two things. It's the two things that Xi Jinping facing. Xi Jinping not yet want to totally get rid of a market economy because they still need it.
Yeah.
If they if they rock the boat too much, it will sink the boat. So he's not going too much, in the ideological part against the market economy yet. But however, he's basically, first of all, you have to agree with him. You gradually moving towards going back to the communist system, and you have to go with him. You don't go, then he will persecute you.
Yeah.
And that's why, people, you see these Western people, reporters or think tank, they oftenly think, oh, that's why they oftenly think, oh, Xi Jinping to do all these things is for his personal power struggle. Well, if he make everybody in the entire Communist Party all failed, threatened, why didn't they get rid of him?
Okay.
Instead, they supported him, right? So they following him. See, that's the big picture they missed. The big picture is the Communist Party member, most of them, they agree with Xi Jinping in one thing. That's the most important thing. They
With
need Communist
preservation of the
Party need to,
party.
yeah, they have to they don't want to dissolve the Communist Party.
All right.
So they agree with what he's doing in the biggest task. But however, on the personal interest level, they kind of like, they have to deal with the headaches every day because the economy goes down. They are facing the social unrest. They have to find a way to get money to pay their employees. They're facing all this headache they have to deal with. So they complain, right?
There you
So
go.
then you complain too much, Xi Jinping is going to go after you. And the way he, persecute all these party officials is basically,
A million of them.
well, yeah, 7.2 million of them, right? Ever since
Yeah.
he got to the top position. So basically, he just check, investigate all of these people's corruption, right? Because every one of them is corrupted,
Corrupt.
right? Every one of them. So whoever he doesn't like, he will just investigate their corruption. It doesn't matter if
Well,
you.
that's what I was trying to say about the anti-rightist campaign. It didn't matter whether you were guilty or not. You were guilty, and that was that. You're out of there. Well, Nan Su also dropped a very interesting tidbit that caught my attention. He suggested there was a rumor that Chang Yo-sha, the general of the People's Liberation Army, is in trouble. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to pick up this rumor of Chang Yo-sha being in trouble. This is China Now with Nan Su Michael Olson and you. Right back.
The votes are in. Chef Ben here from Back 9 Grill and Bar at the Easy Off Pass Tempo exit. We are so proud of our food and our service and your votes. Back 9 has been voted Santa Cruz County's best burger and best happy hour in the good times. You've heard me talking about our house ground burgers. It's time for you to come and try one so you can taste the juicy difference. And what makes our happy hour the best? You have to come and experience it yourself. See you at the 9.
Get hooked up. Get hooked up with the best cannabis at affordable prices at the Hook Outlet in Capitola and Watsonville, or order online at hookoutlet.com. Get hooked up at the Hook.
The votes are in. Chef Ben here from Back 9 Grill and Bar at the Easy Off Pass Tempo exit. We are so proud of our food and our service and your votes. Back 9 has been voted Santa Cruz County's best burger and best happy hour in the good times. You've heard me talking about our house ground burgers. It's time for you to come and try one so you can taste the juicy difference. And what makes our happy hour the best? You have to come and experience it yourself. See you at the 9.
Want to learn more about what it takes to succeed as a business or nonprofit? Then hear from those that have. Join Tam and Susan O'Connor Fraser on Think Local First Radio, Fridays at 1 p.m. on Santa Cruz Voice.
From sommeliers to comedians, Tai Chi master to happy centenarian, on Go Ahead and Tell Me, we meet the people who turn passion into purpose. Every voice, every craft, one conversation at a time. 1 p.m. Thursdays, SantaCruzVoice.com.
Get hooked up with affordable cannabis at your locally owned Hook Outlet, where everybody above the age of 21 can participate in the Hook's loyalty program. Each purchase earns you 2% store credit on your next purchase. Get hooked up with the best cannabis at affordable prices at the Hook Outlet in Capitola and Watsonville, or order online at hookoutlet.com. Get hooked up at the Hook.
Woman 为的来的，我们是中国现在 with Nan Su and Michael Olson. China Now, friend or foe? Well, Zhang Youxia, General Number 1 in the Chinese People's Liberation Army, the PLA, but not really a friend of Xi Jinping. At least that's what I've seen, and what everybody else seems to have seen. Nan Su, you have a rumor about Chang Youxia being in trouble.
Yeah, well, basically what happened is it was on the January 20th, which is what, about 2 days ago,
Yeah.
that in the Central Communist Party school, there's a party school. Basically, it's basically all talking about the party politics. The central part, all the people the students of the Central Communist Party school. Well, they in the system they have every different level of Communist Party school. There's a Central CCP Party school, and there's a provincial level party school. So the students who are going to the provincial party schools are the usually the lower level, like county level, city level party officials who go to the provincial school, while the level the hopefuls for the higher level government officials or the party officials, they go to the Central Communist Party school. So they are the future leader hopefuls of the Chinese Communist Party. Now, on January 20th, they have the Central Communist Party school had a meeting. So the meeting basically only the people who attended the meeting are the minister level as well as the provincial level. Now inside the Chinese Communist Party organization system, the you know the governor of province, all the party secretary of the province and the minister, of central government, they are the same level. So you have on the January 20th, the minister level as well as the provincial level Communist Party member had a meeting in the central CCP party school, and Xi Jinping made a speech over there, and basically all the important people, all the central, the standing committee of a Politburo, and of course all the Politburo level, and all the important people are there. There are two missing. One is Zhang Youxia. He's supposed to be there. Another one is the department head of Chinese Communist Party organizational department. That's a Shi Taifeng. That too,
May I break in here really quickly, just to emphasize the fact that nobody really knows what's going on inside the Chinese Communist Party. So everybody looks for signs
That's
as
right.
to what might be going on.
Well,
And
that's what. Remember the foreign minister Qin Gang?
yes,
Yeah, that's how other outside people can look for who is in trouble. So the minute he start missing from the very important events like this, but
where's
usually,
Qinggang? Yeah,
yeah.
where did he
So
go?
this is kind of an event they will never miss, except if they have serious health problem. So now, but this only is the first time he's missing. But however, the organization department head Shi Taifeng have been missing several events, so he may be in trouble now. But for Zhang Youxia, this is the first time that he's missing this kind of event. We don't have, so that's why that's right now it's still a rumor.
Mhm.
Now, if you go to in the next couple months, we're going to see if this is a rumor or it's
But this
more
is just the
likely.
first indication that
Yeah.
something might be up.
Yep.
Now the significance of Zhang Youxia should be put on the table here as well, because over the past, well, ever since Xi Jinping has been in office, he's been setting up his military ostensibly for an invasion of Taiwan, and has been stacking the military deck, as it were, with his people. Now, all of those people have been fired, kicked out, gone. And the only real survivor of all of that seems to be General Zhang Youxia, who seems to have done the firing of Xi Jinping's generals. Now, that may or may not be true, but at any rate, General Zhang Youxia has worked himself up to be the top general in the Chinese People's Liberation Army, the PLA. So it's very, very, very significant if he doesn't show up to where he's supposed to show up without some kind of excuse being put on the table for his absence.
Yeah, I think this is very important now to shake up the military. It's a very important job for Xi Jinping, for his preparation to invade Taiwan. Right now, that he's dealing with the same kind of mentality. Now, think about. let's do another route of this comparison between Xi Jinping and Stalin. And Stalin in the mid 1930s, he killed. There was a five-star general in the Soviet Union's military. He executed 3 of them, and 15 field army commander, and he executed 13 of them, and he also executed uh, 8 of the 9 military animals, and 50 of 50 out of 57 army commanders, and 154 out of 186 division commanders. Uh, so that's what Stalin did. Now Xi Jinping, he's just getting there. He basically, I think this is what I truly think. I think Xi Jinping need a war with the Western world, and he's
Ah,
preparing one. He's preparing one. But however, all these generals that's gradually, they also climb up their power ladder. Think about that. They also have been promoted through this period of time that China is has been welcoming the investment technologies or whatever investments from the Western world. So they're not ready for this war with Taiwan. So Xi Jinping is getting rid of them. Now think about, we have talked about this 31st Army, Field Army many times, right? All these
right.
military generals that were promoted from the 31st Field Army. That's in Fujian. That's the province directly across the Taiwan Strait from Taiwan.
And the province which Xi Jinping supervised as the whatever they call it, whatever his position
And
there
that's
was.
why I say it's important, to look at this whole, to analyze this whole thing, not from a, of Xi Jinping try to consolidate his personal power. It's very important. If you look at, if he's only trying to consolidate his personal power, then all these generals from 31 Field Army, all these are their own. His own people.
Yeah, they're his own people. So you're suggesting that his own people are opposed to the invasion of Taiwan, not ready for it, not willing to do it, afraid of it.
Not only his own people. There's a lot of military generals. They don't really try to think of. They don't think invading Taiwan is a practical goal, right? Now, but however, Xi Jinping need them for some period of time because he's consolidating. He's newly in the position. He needs support. But however, now think about this. All these military generals overall, because they've been promoted through this period of time. China open up for the market economy, welcome the investment money, technology and consumer market from the Western world, especially from the U.S. market, right? So they're not all these people. They're not ready, so they don't want a war. So well, so Xi Jinping just get rid of them. So that which means what still the big picture. Only if you look at the big picture, you will understand. The big picture is he want to get rid of all these people that really not in line with the way he chose to go. Going
Yeah,
back
so
to the
we're going back to
fundamental.
almost to an anti-rightist campaign.
That's right. That's just a part of it.
Yeah.
Now, except that he doesn't have to execute them, and like in 1930s, what Stalin did. This because the CCP has been in power for more than 70 years,
So
so
what
they
do
are a
the
lot stronger than the Soviet Union regime in the
yeah
1930s.
what does the CCP do with its rightist? now that they don't hang them or shoot them, they tuck them away someplace?
Well, they demote them, right? They demote them. They will probably all these people. They will probably sentenced to jail for I don't know. Uh, in the beginning, they will sentence them like 15, 20 years, and then some of them will eventually die in the jail. And but however, many of them after serve their term, their punishment for like a 5 or 10 years, they will let them out, and they'll probably gave them some satisfy their basic need for living. They will give them some
So to put
housing.
them on ice, I guess would be a good expression, right?
Right, right. That's what it is. So basically, um, so that's what how they deal with them. All these people after 5 or 10 years, basically after 5 or 10 years, they have no influence anymore, right? So they will let them out of the jail. The most severe one will serve longer. So basically, you look at Bo Xilai. Bo Xilai was what arrested in sure forgot
A long
20
time ago, sure.
yeah 10 or 15 years already, he's still in jail. So
I think he
but
was arrested at pretty much the same time that Xi Jinping came into power.
yeah, 2011, maybe 2012, I
Yeah.
forgot, but doesn't matter, right? So those people will serve longer. So because they still have certain influence to certain group of the Chinese party factions.
Okay.
So basically that's what they're going to do. So they take away their power, and then they will Xi Jinping will replace all these positions by some other groups some other generals, again, but these generals may still not be his final choice, right?
Well,
He's just keep replacing them
yeah,
until he, he also need to deal with this organizational, uh, uh,
issues
uh,
now.
the,
Well, let me
the,
go back to Chang Yo-xia, if I might. It appeared to me that Chang Yo-xia was taking a position opposed to that of the wishes of Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping found him to be too powerful to put him on ice because of his position in the military and how General Chang Yo-xia had pretty much taken total control of the military. And as Chairman Mao said, political power comes from the muzzle of a gun, and Chang Yo-xia has the guns. Now,
well,
uh,
first of all, I don't agree
what
with.
does Nan Su have to say about that?
Well, first of all, I don't think Zhang Youxia has ever actually had a total control of the military. That's just not true. We discuss about this issue
I
many,
know we've been going back and forth with.
yeah, many times. I don't think he has that kind of a power.
Okay.
Uh, Now, but
Well,
however,
given your rumor that he hasn't shown up where he's supposed to show up, that might be very true, and he might be gone now. Who knows?
well, it doesn't matter if he shows up the next meeting or not. He just, there's no way inside the See, that's why the people missing the whole picture of the whole entire evil system of Chinese Communist Party. They are trying to look at all this personal power struggle, and then they ignore the entire big picture of the Chinese Communist Party. And
So
they think
let
that's
me see.
how that's what lead them to the mistake of thinking about Zhang Youxia has total control of
Okay,
Chinese
let me
communism.
see if I can paraphrase my mistake here in thinking. My mistake is thinking that General Chang Yo-xia is a reformist who might be out to try to reform how the CCP operates. But just that one person cannot go up against an institution that has its only real objective as being the preservation of the Chinese Communist Party. Nothing else matters. So whatever General Zhang Youxia might want to do, if it's in direct opposition to maintaining the survival of the Chinese Communist Party, he will be taken down.
That's correct. Well, think about this. Just think about this. Xi Jinping is similar to Khamenei.
Ah,
All right.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
question answer, right? Question
Okay.
answer. Now, until the day, but we are coming to the days, seeing that the Iranian people rise up, directly, ask the death for Khamenei. That's powerful statement. Now, until that happened in China, there's no way Zhang Youxia is going to, have the power against the Xi Jinping, basically. That never.
And yeah, Khomeini has God on his side, right? So who can contend with Khomeini in Iran? Because if to go against him, you're going against God, and forget about that. Now,
Well, in China, it's an atheist system. They
no
don't have
God.
God, but however, the God, the creed of God is to continue the ruling power of Chinese Communist Party, and that's why Xi Jinping played the power, from that angle, of ideology, to continue because he persecute all his opponents under the name of continuation of Chinese Communist Party's ruling power. So that's why nobody is going to be able to against him. That's what he's playing. That's the game he's been playing.
And it's a pretty powerful game as well when it gets right down to it.
Because once the CCP dissolved, nobody will survive, right?
Nobody will survive.
So that's why he got everybody. A lot of people don't even like what he's doing, but they have to, because if
So as it stands, 1 million members of the Chinese Communist Party are guards in the prison of the China's People's Republic of China. They are the guards, and Xi Jinping is the warden. And the guards and the warden have total control over the 1.3 billion people who are not part of the Chinese Communist Party. And
well, yeah, I think that's true. China is just a big jail.
China is a big jail.
It's a big jail, and then tribes, right? I mean, people are
So that pretty much ends our first hour today. But in our second hour, I would like to challenge Nan Su to. I have come to the conclusion Xi Jinping's real objective is not the invasion and taking over of Taiwan. I think Xi Jinping's real objective is to the north and Siberia. I believe Xi Jinping will not invade Taiwan. He will invade Siberia. And that's what I'd like to place on the table for discussion with my associate Nan Su when we get back from the top of the hour break. So stay tuned.